Hey, and welcome back to Animation Study Group, the series where I, a beginner in animation, encourage you to follow along as I work my way through this, the Animator Survival Kit by Richard Williams. This is episode 16, and today I'm going to be focusing on a double bounce walk cycle. I jumped right over to my desktop, and what you're seeing on the screen is my thumbnail sketch for this exercise. This is the double bounce walk cycle in the book. This is one step in that walk cycle. You can see the arc of motion kind of goes up, and down again. So you've got these three down poses in the course of your walk cycle. The book charts that out in 17 frames. So you're going to add some additional in-betweens here. But this should give you a decent place to start if you're kind of following along and trying to replicate the exercise that I'm about to do. My sketch here is pretty rough. I would probably focus a little more on consistency of volume as you go. My highs are, I think, a little too high. My lows are a little too low. I think that might get me into some trouble, but I tried to replicate what I saw in the book in a sketch just to get me started. So I'm going to take this sketch, pull it into opentoonz, start animating, and we'll see how this turns out. I'm going to jump over into some sped up animation footage, and I'll see you on the other side. This is the end result of that animation process. I've got my double bounce walk cycle on a loop. I really like the way this one came out. It's pretty cool. It looks like the character is kind of bopping along to some music. I did have to manipulate my thumbnail sketch to make this work. If we look back at what that thumbnail sketch actually looked like, the passing pose didn't look like it could really support weight. The tilt of the character had to sort of pitch forward to make it work in this animation. So as I'm drawing, I'm sort of adjusting the reference sketch to make the motion work. But this is pretty much it. A cool exercise, a cool bouncy walk. I'm going to take this one step further and turn this animated kind of stick drawing into an actual character. In order to test taking my stick figure and turning it into a more developed character for the animation, I took the walk cycle thumbnail again and I just sketched characters over each pose until I found one that I liked. So I tried this robot character over here, tried this guy with some headphones on, this little alien looking guy, this clown. Ultimately, Gene Belcher won it out. So I'm going to take Gene Belcher, slap him over my character animation, and you can see what that final animation looks like at the end. This is the final animation. You've got a double bounce walk cycle with Gene Belcher as the subject in 12 frames per second. Gene's definitely not on model the whole time, but I'm pretty happy with the end result. I did have some challenge looping this walk cycle. I had to do some different versions of some of the in-betweens when I tried to line up the end of the first walk cycle with the walk cycle starting again. I think if I paid more attention to how the first contact pose was spread out and I traced that and just switched the legs, with the second contact pose, I wouldn't have had the same issue, but basically the character's tilt is a little bit different at the end of the first two steps compared to the beginning of the animation. So I had to go back in and take some of those in-betweens and make new versions of them and just kind of adjust where they sat to make it look a little more normal. I ended up adding a little bit of camera motion to sort of smooth out one of those rougher transition points, so the camera kind of takes off and then Gene catches back up to it. I also wanted to show the character was moving along a landscape, and I think that the camera motion helps with that, and then I was able to just like add that squiggly line in the background so you can tell he's moving forward. That'll about do it for this video. As always, thanks so much for watching and following along. Hopefully you are progressing in your animation as well. I think in the next video I will be tackling a straight-on walk cycle, so the character is coming directly at the camera. And then I'm hoping that after that I can move away from walk cycles for a little bit and take these exercises in a different direction for a little while. There is still a lot to learn with walk cycles, but I'd like to move on from them for a little while, I think. That all said, thanks again, and until next time, take care.